we conducted a research project with the University of California, Irvine Department of Medicine and Sociology, assessing the changes people got in network care. At that time, people were saying there couldn't be those type of change, people having spiritual changes, they were changing their lives. And at that time, the chiropractic profession was looking to get its credibility as a form of back pain. And here are articles coming in the major media about people in network care at the time, and they were talking about how their life changed, how they changed partners, how they had spiritual awakenings. And some people said the pain went away. So looking at this, I said, I want to find out exactly what changes people are having. What change are they really getting? So we developed an instrument to assess self-reported changes, health-related quality of life changes. It was the largest study of any healthcare population, the largest of any chiropractic population done. And this study demonstrated the extraordinary change in network care. Part of my agenda, I had an agenda there, part of my agenda was to say that if a person made healthier choices, if they were more compassionate, if life could be more like they wanted it to be, if they could be more joyous, if they feel they could get along better with other people, that should be part of the health care. Because ultimately, why do most people want health care or disease treatment? Because they want to function better. They want to be a happier life. They want to be more fulfilled. They want to live a full life. So I wanted that to be in the health picture. And I wanted to be documented that chiropractors get those type of changes. Well, the research showed that people in network care improved in all the categories. And around that time, I changed what was known as network chiropractic to network spinal analysis. The results of this research rocked my world. At that time, I thought that the reason we got the results in network was specifically because of the sequence or the phasing system we used. And at that time, there were no levels of care in NSA. There was no concept of spinal neurointegrity subsystems. We didn't have the same outcomes or patient self-reported awareness. We had the results. I realized something very powerful from the research. We asked the question, what predicted the greatest change? What were the greatest predictors? And they were, one, duration in care. The longer a person was in care, the greater self-reported change they made. And after 3 years, there was still no ceiling. They kept improving. Second, awareness of the respiratory wave. And the third was awareness of the network wave. This was very big for me. I actually had a difficult time wrapping my head around it because I thought it was specifically the correction of the subluxation of the tongue was creating the change. Interesting concept. Awareness. I said, why would awareness be a key? And I realized that as soon as these stress hormones hit the frontal lobe of the cortex, the person cannot use the higher resources as reactionary, and they cannot make constructive change. And they don't have the fulfillment. Life takes too much energy. At that point, I said, awareness is the key we must look at. Around that time, I was publishing the 12 Stages of Healing, which said there are 12 stages to the healing response, which are all stages of perceptual awareness, and each had a natural rhythm in the body. Each had an exercise that a person would do to connect them to the body and to that awareness. With this, these exercises called somato-respiratory integration, SRI exercises, were placed in the book. That would lead to a new application, network spinal analysis, where I took the phasing system of network chiropractic and I then added a series of levels of care. Each would produce different changes based upon what change would I expect after 2 or 3 months, after 4 months, after 6 months. What happened? We gave a staging system to levels of care, and we then said, let's also apply the awareness of the body to the care. You see, it's simple. B.J. Palmer said that the spine is like a cucumber cut up in slices. Coming from New York, Jewish background, I think it was a pickle. So if I cut it up in slices and I go like this, the front and the back are still in the same nerve supply. What we found in research and network, and what makes sense, is that the care reduces the sympathetic load in the system, reduces the sympathetic hypervigilance. What about the parasympathetic system? Now, I suggest you take a look at the work by Porges. And Porges has a work on the polyvagal theory. It's brilliant work on the vagus nerve. And we learn in school, I learned that, well, if sympathetic tone decreases, parasympathetic increases. There's really two separate systems. And the parasympathetic system is involved in such things such as decreasing heart rate, increasing use of oxygen, increased cardiac efficiency, digestion. It involves the ability to chill out, to pay attention inside. It's actually also associated with social interactions, of finding people who have criminal behaviors or antisocial behavior have difficulty with the regulation of that parasympathetic nervous system. Now, why am I mentioning all of this right now? Because the largest nerve of the parasympathetic nervous system is the vagus nerve. And it has branches in the anterior part of the body. And I believe as we connect in the front of the body through SRI exercises, especially the first stages of somatorespiratory integration, it helps normalize or bring a higher level of parasympathetic tone up so the person can pay attention. And then as you hold the contact more effectively, the body can self-organize, because sometimes the cucumber or pickle has to be addressed from the front and sometimes the back. We have found consistently that when SRI is introduced with a protocol of NSA care, not only does the care progress more effectively, we also find that people's relationship with the symptoms change, because they have the ability to connect to their body more. They can find the gifts in the symptoms. They could really have a better conversation about what's going on in their body and their life. Both NSA and SRI, in their own way, are both approaches to increasing awareness of respiration and somatic awareness. I see them as partners together to produce the highest change you'd like to see for an individual. So, the missing link is awareness. And this is almost the irony. For practitioners who are looking to get rid of pain, what you're really looking to do is you're looking to reduce awareness. And if you reduce awareness, you reduce the potential to create the greatest change in health and wellness. No one wants to have pain, but everyone wants to have gain. And if we can increase the body's awareness and help the cortex, the higher part of the brain, to participate in these biological processes, we really get great gain. Research has shown that inability to perceive, process, or verbalize, a body sense or emotion underlies most chronic diseases and addictions, chronic injuries, and pretty much most of the things people suffer from, because they don't have the self-regulatory mechanism by picking up subtle cues, and therefore you need a massive cue. Imagine I'm working in the garden, I'm bending over, I'm doing gardening, and I'm bending over and doing it for 2 or 3 hours, and suddenly my back seizes up. Now I blew a disc or a situation occurred. What happened? How could that have happened? If I had subtle cues through effective somatic awareness and cues going through the passive active neurocontrol subsystem, and if I help my patients to further exercise that with their own somatorespiratory integration exercises, as I'd be working in the garden, I feel I have to move this way, I have to move that way. I might burp. I might let go of gas, taking pressure off with cold off the spine. All different things would happen, so I would micro-regulate. But when I learn that pain is bad, when I learn to repress those situations, basically a gentle wake-up call doesn't work. It's a massive wake-up call. And we're looking to increase the sensory and motor acuity to higher and higher levels of the individual.